93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
FM.com. Nick Sainert with you as usual. Thank you, my friend, as we bring you more youthful just news and notes on a Sunday. We're going to be joined by Jay Foreman here in just a few minutes. He's en route to Lincoln Youth Football. I would imagine Jay is already here and has been here. However, the parking lot, we talk about it over and over each week. Parking lot so full because there's so many people here watching Lincoln Youth Football that you usually got to drive around a couple of times and find a spot to park and settle in and get ready to make your way into the facilities here. Some incredible games so far today. We just saw a little bit less than 10 minutes ago or so in the noon game, we saw Police actually score a touchdown on the last play of the game in regulation right in front of us here on the A field. Those are the 8th graders getting ready for the high school scene next year. But it's been a really, really good and exciting day of football here. We can't thank our friends over at Edward Stone enough as well for making this possible. Make sure you contact them today. Edward Stone, big supporters of not only high school athletics, but also youth athletics in the capital city. As always, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are both open for you guys the entire show. We are here until 3 p.m. And so we just to give a kind of an overview and oversight of where we are currently at in the season this is week 6 of the regular season. They will have one more week of regular season action. Then it is playoffs. 1 week of playoffs. 4 teams from divisions of A, B, and C make it. Those 4 teams division will play basically a winner-take-all tournament. 1 seed versus the 4 seed, 2 seed versus the 3 seed. And then those 2 winners of the 2 semifinals all meet at Seacrest Field, which is October 26th, the day after Nebraska and Northwestern, last week of October in the championships, the Lincoln Youth Football Championships. And it's going to be a good couple of weeks of youth football action here. And so we can't thank, as always, our friends here at Lincoln Youth Football, Jim Sandman, Mike Selvage, Tank Perry, the entire crew for allowing us to come on out and occupy 2 hours of the time here on the property and at the facilities here. So right before us, we have Allo going up against Greens Furnace and Plumbing. Obviously, Allo, friends of 93.7 The Ticket. And so Allo, I will say, they have some of the sharpest jerseys. They have these nice little charcoal gray with the green shoulder pads, black helmets, black pants. They look sharp. While all the sponsors do a really nice job of making sure that the equipment and the sponsorships are up to date here at the Lincoln Youth Football fields and on the facility property. So once again, can't thank Lincoln Youth Football enough for having us to get out here. We have a lot to get to throughout the course of the show today. We're going to dive into Nebraska's win 38-27 against Michigan State yesterday. Nebraska now 4-1 on the season. We have a lot of high school stuff to get to as well. Jay and I were in attendance and called the Lincoln Southwest versus Lincoln Northeast game on Thursday. We're going to kind of, now that we've had 2 or 3 days to let that one kind of marinate and sit with us, we're going to kind of give our thoughts once Jay gets here. And then probably the conversation I'm most excited to have with Jay at some point in this first hour is going to be in the NFL. When you look around the NFL right now, you have a lot of quarterbacks not only are young or in the earlier stages of their careers, you have a couple of notable quarterbacks that are out injured. Most notably, I suppose, Lamar Jackson's in that conversation. Cooper Rush getting the start today for the Baltimore Ravens. But you have this situation to where we saw it this morning, Dillon Gabriel making his first start as an NFL quarterback, and it's not here in the States, it's actually overseas in London in a game that Minnesota scored in the final minute on a touchdown pass from Carson Wentz. Since J.J. McCarthy is out, Carson Wentz scores on a ball that was delivered to Jordan Addison. And so there's been a lot of really interesting storylines throughout the entire day so far, not only here at the Lincoln Youth Football fields, but also in the NFL scene. We'll definitely get Jay's thoughts on the whole Penn State UCLA situation, all the stuff around the acting play caller Jerry Neuheisel is really, really cool to see. Obviously, his dad, Rick Neuheisel, one of the most respected coaches in college football from his time at Colorado. I know Nebraska fans don't want to hear that, but it is somewhat accurate there. And so much to get to. And I think what I was saying, this is something I was talking to a couple of people beforehand, before we came on live here, talked about it to some people last night after Jay and I got done with the post-game show, is you look at the upcoming month or now 3 weeks left in October for Nebraska football. And you have, obviously, we know Maryland is going to be a 2:30 kickoff. Then the following week, it's a Friday night game at Minnesota before returning home to close out the month against Northwestern. I think if you ask a large conglomerate of Nebraska fans, they feel good about the Huskers' chances in maybe 2 or 3 of those, because I think there's an ounce in Nebraska fans' minds, and none of us will want to admit this, but there's an ounce of doubt, I think, in Nebraska fans' minds, to where they sit there and say, it just feels like, Nebraska should win all 3 or could win all 3, but they're always going to drop one. They're always going to lose one, right? And I think you can't argue with that strategy, or you can't argue with that thought process, I suppose. However, when it's all said and done, I mean, think about the opportunity that's in front of the Huskers in this month of October. As you sit there and for the next 3 weeks, let's just play out a hypothetical scenario. Nebraska could be bowl eligible in 2 weeks, which last year you had to wait until the middle of November when Nebraska was playing that matchup against Wisconsin at home. You had to be, I mean, the ability to, I think, for the staff and for just the guys in the locker room more so than even just the staff, if they're able to win 2 of these next 3 or even all of the next 3, you're talking about a month of October that you are 4-0 potentially. And at the end of October, you're feeling okay at 3-1 at the start of the month, but then 7-1, and you are what would be 4-1 in the Big Ten Conference. You feel pretty excited about what November could look like, and that shapes up a massive, massive day against USC on November 1st. And I think it's okay for us to sit here and look down the road. Obviously, the guys in the room and the locker room don't want to sit there and look ahead to November and say, oh, man, Penn State might be more gettable than you think, and this, that, and the third. But ultimately, when it's all said and done, I think you look at the opportunity that Nebraska has in front of them, not only next week with the Maryland Terrapins, who are a very good team. I think if Nebraska can go on the road to Maryland and knock off the Terps, that'll actually be the most impressive win of the season. And I put that above the Cincinnati win. I think Cincinnati's a fine team. I don't know if Iowa State was down their top 2 cornerbacks yesterday. So ultimately, I think, you take the win if you're Cincinnati yesterday against, top 15 Iowa State. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I think if Nebraska can go all the way to College Park, they're going to be their first true road game on the road in Maryland, in College Park, against a team that's very similar to Nebraska in terms of wins and successes, same record, 4-1 overall. You sit there and say, okay, you know what, maybe we can take Nebraska even more seriously than we already do at their current record of 4-1 and 1-1 in the Big Ten Conference. And so I just don't think you can stress that enough. Now I will say this, and Jay and I talked a little bit about this yesterday on the post-game show. I heard Jay talk about it on Inside the Huddle this morning. And so I think there's both of these things can be true. I think both of these things can be true and accurate. On one hand, did Nebraska win? Absolutely. And is a lot of Husker fans' mentality just win? Yeah, I think it is. And you can never be disappointed with a win. I think you can be at times disappointed with how you win, potentially. I think you can be sit there and say, okay, yeah, you know what, we Nebraska won and we're happy, but Nebraska, to do the things that they want to do, to accomplish the goals that they want to achieve this season, they have to play better than they did against Michigan State, and they have to play better than they did against Michigan. I still think both of these things can be true, that Nebraska, only lost to Michigan by 3, and they did beat Michigan State by 11 yesterday, but they didn't play well. I don't want to say it was sloppy. I don't want to say it was undisciplined, but I think that you can always look at the film, and you can always look back at things and say, yeah, this area could have been sharper. The offensive line is a serious concern, even after the reshuffling, right? And for whatever side of the fence you land on, if it is if you are a type of person that wants Gunnar Gatula at left tackle and Prohaska at right tackle and Pritchett on the bench, that's fine. If you are somebody that wants Elijah Pritchett at left tackle and Gunnar Gatula at right tackle, that's fine as well. If you're somebody that wants Pritchett at left and Prohaska at right tackle, that's fine as well. The overarching point still stands, though, is that it's got to improve dramatically. I mean, and dramatically, I think is a very, very accurate way to put that. And so ultimately, when it's all said and done, Nebraska, they got the job done. They won. They win by 11 points. Yesterday, 38 to 27 over the Michigan State Spartans. I think that there's also something truthful to be said about Michigan State. Might not be nearly as good as we thought, or might not nearly be as disciplined as we thought. There's a weird thought in my mind that Aiden Childs did not play well yesterday at all, and I'm surprised to see that. I was surprised to see 2 interceptions from a guy that Jonathan Smith has kind of tied himself to through his time in Corvallis and Oregon State, and then now on to Michigan State. I think we talk about it all the time, that the most important decision and one of the most important things to always get right if you are a head coach in college football, even in the NFL, but it's more organizational than maybe in the college game. You have to identify the quarterback correctly. And there's a lot of programs and a lot of coaches that live and die by that decision. I think a great example is Mike Norvell at Florida State. Mike Norvell, we forget that he had Jordan Travis, who led him to what could have been a playoff opportunity before Travis got hurt, and had double-digit wins there. And then you go up and follow that up with maybe getting lost in the name a little bit. DJ Uiagalelei, they bring him in from Oregon State, DJ Uiagalelei. And it was one of those things to where we remember DJ as that 5-star recruit out of St. John Bosco High School in California, one of the more premier high school football programs in the country. And it was somebody that he was notable for a lot of reasons, right? And he goes to Clemson, has a fine couple of years, then goes to Oregon State, is able to kind of resurrect his career a little bit, goes to Florida State and is incredibly immobile and struggles dramatically. And the pressure started to really get to Mike Norvell and the 2-win season, obviously. And then you kind of see these wholesale changes go from Florida State, where they move on from the offensive coordinator. The defensive coordinator's fired. They bring in Tony White. They hire away Gus Malzahn from being a head coach at UCF to now being the offensive coordinator at Florida State. And what did they do? They identified Tommy Castellanos as their next quarterback from Boston College. And so now granted, the Florida State lost to Miami over the weekend, but the point still stands as to where teams and coaches more specifically live and die in their careers are decided by the players that they're able to bring in, number one, but also number two is the players they're able to develop, and how are they able to develop and take somebody to the next level. Because there is some truth, I think, to what you expect, what you saw from DJ Uiagalelei is a great example, I think. It's because you saw what he did at Clemson. You knew he kind of needed a career reset, right? And you needed to take a second to just say, okay, well, let's try to find somewhere new, maybe a better fit, maybe a different coaching staff. Maybe the level of play at the ACC was too high for DJ. But then, so you go to Oregon State, have a nice year under Jonathan Smith, and then Florida State looks at him and says, well, we can maybe elevate his play, elevate him to a different level, right? And that's fine. But ultimately, when it's all said and done, that you have to figure out a way to, I guess, how do I say this? You have to figure out a way to then ultimately consistently develop guys and get ready to take them to the next league, to the next level. And I think still we talk about it in NFL and draft picks, and we talk about it with transfer portal and NIL money and all this and that. At the end of the day, I still think there's some truth to guys want to win and guys want to get to the next level. The NFL still reigns. Like I think, like we talk about Nebraska's offensive line, to take it back to this, whatever combination you as a Husker fan wants, I don't think it matters. At the end of the day, what's most important is how does Nebraska develop guys to get them to the league. I think when you look at Nebraska football, I said some crazy statistic. That's accurate. I said a statistic earlier about 2 weeks ago coming out of the Michigan game, where I said since 2014, Nebraska's had 4 offensive linemen drafted. However, since the 1970s, Nebraska still ranks in the top 5 of programs all time to get offensive linemen drafted. So what does that tell you? From the beginning of the 1970s to 2010, Nebraska, which you could argue, and it's not necessarily an argument, it's a statement of fact, Nebraska had the most success from that time period, right? Whether it was a scoring explosion in the 70s or the dominant teams of the mid-90s, Nebraska had the most success in that time period. And now, since 2014, where Nebraska has struggled tremendously, they have kind of gone away from the ability to move guys into the league. And so through all of that, I think that there's a lot that you can take from that. And they're just numbers, and maybe the talent around them has gotten a lot better to where other teams and offensive linemen just develop differently under different coaches, and that's fine. And this is not me making a case for why Donovan Raiola should have a job or shouldn't have a job, or talking specifically about individual players. It's the statement of fact, though, at the end of the day, Nebraska, as long as they prioritize the offensive line, they're going to be able to compete. And I think they've prioritized it more so this year than they have in the past, but now it's the development part. Now it's the quality of coach part. Is that there? And I think that's something that we still have yet to determine and still have yet to find out. All right, let's go do this. Let's take an early timeout. When we come back, we're going to bring in Jay Foreman. He's going to hang out with me for the next couple of segments as well. I want to get Jay's thoughts on the NFL situation with some quarterbacks and some new guys that are getting some reps here today. Obviously, Dillon Gabriel loses his first NFL start in London against the Minnesota Vikings on a last-second touchdown. There's a lot to get to. Lamar Jackson is out. We'll dive into all of that. We want to thank our friends at Edward Stone for allowing us to be out here at the Lincoln Youth Football Fields. We are here until 3 o'clock, just a little over an hour and a half left in the program before we send it back to our friends at the station. Can't thank you guys enough for joining us wherever you may be. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo Cable channel 961. It's just a good reminder, as wherever you're traveling, the app works everywhere. So make sure you have that app downloaded, and we'll take you through the rest of your Sunday afternoon. All right, Jay Foreman joins me, Nick Sainert here on the facilities of Lincoln Youth Football on 93.7 The Ticket.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through October 5th, enjoy 8-ounce USDA choice bacon wrapped sirloins for $5.88 each. All natural boneless chicken breast, $2.99 per pound. Fresh pork sausage, $2.49 per pound. And fresh salmon fillets for $9.99 per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details, you take the compliments. Book your Graze Table today at grazingouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
Trendy or traditional, Gary Michaels Clothiers specializes in men's tailored clothing. Off the rack or custom made to measure, there is simply no better shopping experience. Offering designer furnishings, sportswear, shoes, outerwear, and accessories for a man always concerned at looking his best. With world-class tailoring and personal service, all makes Gary Michaels Clothiers Nebraska's premier store for men. Come visit us now at Village Gardens, south of 56th and Pine Lake Road in Lincoln.
Did you know that deer collisions are covered under the comprehensive portion of your car insurance? That means, like with hail damage or vandalism, since they are out of your control, they don't usually raise your insurance rates. And that's a good thing, since most deer don't carry liability insurance. At Eustace Body Shop, we fixed all kinds of animal collision damage, from cows to raccoons, bobcats, and even turkeys. We can't do much for the animal, but we can get your car back on all fours and looking like new again.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Führer's cheese spread. So he left at once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Führer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
I'm Kirk Herbstreit, and today I'm eating Raising Cane's.
Herbstreit's in the drive-thru again. Oh, hey, Kirk. What can I get you today?
I want a solid bench of 4 chicken fingers that are real difference makers. Sprinkle-cut fries with dynamic ridge patterns, Texas toast, and cane sauce with an air of smugness that comes from knowing you're the best. Now back to you, Todd.
So the usual.
Make Raising Cane's part of your game day lineup. One love.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Byrne as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion, for happier, healthier, furry friends.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Back to Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in, Youth Football 101, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert alongside Jay Foreman here. Jay, appreciate you joining me, my friends. As we broke down Nebraska, Michigan State last night on the postgame show, you talked about it extensively this morning on Inside the Huddle as well. And now I kind of want to pivot to the NFL to start in this segment because some scores from around the league. Texans are up big on the Ravens at halftime, 24-3. The Giants lead the Saints on the road, 14-13. One of the two undefeated teams is currently playing, and it's just about to be halftime. The Eagles are up 10-3 at home against the Broncos. The Cowboys on the road against the winless Jets are up 17-3. The Colts continued their strong start to the year. They're up 20-3 on the Raiders, and the Dolphins at halftime are winning against the Carolina Panthers 17-10. That in addition to the final that was this morning in London, the Vikings on top, and they beat the Cleveland Browns. I specifically want to talk about this angle, the ability to get ready for a rookie quarterback. What does the process look like for, let's say, Dylan Gabriel today?
Yeah.
Because he not only is he's getting his first start, but then on top of that, it's not in the United States. It's overseas in London.
Yeah.
And it's just not, it's for a franchise that doesn't really know what they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, one, when you're any rookie quarterback or a quarterback that hadn't played all season, you always worry about like a uptick in production offensively from a defensive perspective because you don't have a lot of tendencies on them. And so, I'm sure they went back and scouted, how he played, and they have a pretty good book on him because he just got drafted. So they know, potentially what his weaknesses are. And you got a few, games or quarters from preseason. But really, you just got to look at what he does well, what he doesn't do well. Then you got to go out there and be effective. Now, the playbook changes. Number one, he's left-handed. Number two, he's probably obviously a little bit more athletic than Joe Flacco, so that gives you some problem there. So it changes more how you approach the game. But then also you've seen over whether it's a change in quarterback, a change in coaches, change in the coordinator, that very next week you see an uptick in production. And, for him, wasn't a very efficient day throwing the ball, but 2 TD passes and almost had Cleveland in a position to win. So that's, a good step in the right direction for him, early in his NFL career.
It's interesting because what are your thoughts just on, in general, the urgency that NFL organizations have nowadays to get quarterbacks ready? Like, there's so many examples of it, but it's like New York's a great example to where it's like, okay, they'll start with Russell Wilson. They bring him in the offseason. They also signed Jameis Winston. Yeah. And maybe at the start of the year, their initial thought process is, okay, we'll allow Jackson Dart to have time. But at the end of the day, it's a shiny new toy, and they want him out there.
Especially when they're first-round picks, and also it's tied to the coach trying to keep his job, right? I mean, when you think the ship is starting to sink, you got to make a decision to try to bring some energy into the locker room, into the building, but then also kind of get the crosshairs off of you and say, listen, I told you we needed to draft this guy. Maybe the decision, whatever the powers that be, was like, let's get through a year. We need him right now, and then I need some time. Now, in Jackson Dart's case, they won a game, and some of the things that he does well, or he naturally does, right? He's well liked in the locker room. People seem to play for him. He plays hard. He competes. That's was in question with Russell Wilson. So, as of this week, it was a good decision. But yeah, they want to. And Cleveland's different, right? Where he signed Joe Flacco. If I'm really trying to win, Joe Flacco's starting every game.
That's what feels so weird about it.
So then, but they're not, right? And it was only a matter until Joe Flacco started out 2-1, 3-1, then he'd still be in there. But that's not the case, and Cleveland's not very good. So what they've already turned the page to next year.
Yeah,
they haven't said it, but they have. And what they're doing now when they play rookie quarterbacks, which then puts a veteran like myself career in jeopardy, because we're not going to win, and your bargaining power, unless it really times up well, isn't very good, is that now it's a tryout. It's a tryout for Dylan Gabriel. Number one, are you going to be the odds-on stopgap starter next year? Because Joe Flacco probably won't be back, and so that either that or you're the number one backup. And then eventually they'll throw Shedeur Sanders in there for 2 reasons: to see if he's better. And in a lot of ways, he's probably more ready than Dylan Gabriel, but then also put Shedeur Sanders in there so he can create some trade value and get something for him if he moves in the offseason.
It's so strange because we're seeing. I mean, I don't think maybe Cleveland's the extreme because they took multiple quarterbacks in the draft, but I also think there's something to be said about the way that the world works nowadays, with next year's draft being pretty heavy quarterback.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised to see teams that drafted a quarterback this year
Good another one.
also
New
get another
Orleans-
one next
New
year.
Orleans Saints, not the Giants, but the Jets will probably be looking for a quarterback, and you can count Justin Fields as a rookie this year because he just got a new contract. And then obviously Cleveland. Wouldn't say necessarily Minnesota, but if somebody falls to them or somebody they could get somebody in the second or third round. It's going to be open for business. Arizona, Raiders, Seattle. I mean, this is going to be, and this doesn't even mean that the quarterbacks are really that good.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks drafted early and often just based on the supply and demand.
I was going to say maybe that's a better way to think about it, because at the beginning of the year there was this expectation that Arch Manning would be a first rounder. Drew Aller's up there as well. Those two guys have not had the flashiest or maybe the expected type of seasons that we were thinking ahead of the year. Now, you and I have never been really big on Drew Aller as a QB. However, desperation seeps in to a lot of organizations in April.
Yeah, and teams and coaches always think I can fix him. Now he has all the tools. It's just that he hasn't. Now I will say, Penn State's offense and their skill position guys have not been very good. You haven't. You struck out on it, and you haven't developed any. So Warren was a big part of your offense. He's now gone. So I think somebody will draft Drew Aller, because if he turns it on later on in the season, does interviews well, he's a good kid. He'll pass all that stuff, and then if he shows some more improvement down the stretch, he'll be just fine. Yeah,
it's interesting, just the NFL scene, because there's a lot of coaches, you mentioned it, that are trying to fight for their jobs already in week 6 of the season, which is kind of crazy to think about now that the NFL season got longer. Yeah. Coaches are even fighting for their jobs, earlier in the season. Dable, obviously, in New York, but then also you have McDaniels in Miami is such a fascinating kind of conversation, just because Miami's now up on Carolina. They won last week.
Yeah.
And it's like
looks better too without Tyreek.
And that's so weird. Like why is that you can get a guy out of your locker room or off in the field, and it actually a guy of Tyreek Hill's ability.
Yeah, I mean, it is an ability thing. Sometimes you can overrun the offense, saying with in the back of your mind from a quarterback standpoint that you have to get them the ball and all this other stuff, or just by circumstances. I mean, you're playing the Carolina Panthers, so it's a free for all, as far as what they're going to do defensively. So we'll see long term. I don't know how much Tyreek was really invested in staying in Miami. There was a little bit of a contract issue, and now rightfully so. And then obviously off the field issues probably affected them the most. And so now they got, a little bit of uptick in, scoring, and their defense had played relatively good enough to win more games than they have up until this point. But, it's a transactional league. It's, everybody's movable. And then obviously it shows with, one guy, play, you can sometimes addition by subtraction sometimes as well.
It's interesting. Who's a team in the NFL that surprised you the most so far through 4 or 5 games? Like, is there somebody that sticks out to you? Because there's one for me. It's the Indianapolis Colts, and I kind of want to dive a little deeper into them. But who is that team for you?
Probably Seattle.
Okay,
Seattle, but they're both the same.
Yeah.
Both are young teams. I think Indianapolis has a better roster. I like Indianapolis roster. I like Daniel Jones. I felt like he never got the support he needed after, he took him to the playoffs with Saquon there. You get rid of Saquon. It's almost like Drew Aller, get rid of Warren. Then you're like, okay, well now, and then they dumped a whole bunch of money into him, but you did the hard knocks and they went all in on him without a number one receiver. Then you had a short leash with him with Neighbors. You didn't even allow him to have any connection. And Neighbors said it wasn't the quarterback. It was the play caller last year. So now you see him there where, they believe in him. And I think he does. I think he's gonna, do well for the rest of the year.
It's interesting because when you look at Indianapolis too, they should be. There's a chance they could have been 4-0 if Adonai Mitchell doesn't drop the fumble or drop the touchdown right last week against the Los Angeles Rams. But I mean, they've beaten up on some bad teams. But like today, they played a somewhat formidable opponent in the Raiders, and they're up comfortably at halftime, 20-3. There, how much does a healthy Jonathan Taylor make that?
I mean, it makes your life easier, especially with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is a capable quarterback. Yeah. Taylor doing his thing. We see it all the time at every single level. You're at or ahead of the chains. You got Pittman Jr. You got Mitchell when his mind's right.
Yeah.
You got a nice little plethora of skill position guys, and then you drafted Warren, and he's starting to come on.
Yeah.
And the defense is a pretty good roster. You got 3 outside rushers. You got big guy in the middle, and that came over from San Fran. So I think you got a nice core of really good players, and that's what they're doing right now. Plus, it's a right for the picking in the AFC South. Jacksonville is Jacksonville, which they're playing better this year, but they're still Jacksonville. Then you got Houston, who doesn't have any offensive line, and that affect. And then Houston doesn't have Joe Mixon. So now, and then we're not even going to talk about Tennessee. So you have the chance to do it because they really have a better version of Richardson and Daniel Jones. And that's what's really, put them in the position that they're in right now.
Is Anthony Richardson's career done? Like
maybe in Indianapolis, but he needs to go somewhere.
Like what's the ideal fit or type for Anthony
He needs to
Richardson?
go to like Kansas City.
Okay.
Learn how to play, get his confidence back. Maybe like San Francisco or something like that. Learn for a year, learn how to play the position of quarterback, learn how to work and all that stuff, and mature.
Like, is he in the spot Sam Darnold was in before Minnesota? Like back in New York?
Kind of. But, Sam Darnold, yeah, because it's kind of like the same organization, but not apples to apples. But, yeah, he's got to wait. Now he's going to have to wait for his turn. He's had some opportunities and probably had the hook pulled too quick on him. But, it's just part of the business.
What's impressed you the most? You said Seattle. What is it there? Is it Jackson Smith and Jigba making himself a clear number one?
Just just laser beamed himself to clear number one. 3 or 4 years, you think maybe he's better than Marvin Harrison Jr. And then I like the defense. I think they've drafted well over the years. I like McDonald as a coach. They're aggressive. I think they're very, very competitive, and they bounce back whenever they don't play well. And I like that. They went out to Pittsburgh. That's a long trip for them. And they beat the dog tar out of Pittsburgh, and so that's why I knew that they were going to be pretty good.
And they have kind of a 2 running back system with not only Kenneth Walker but also Charbonnet.
Yeah,
so
you got it, and they're both the same. And they beat you up, and they invested in their offensive line, so you're starting to see some fruits of their labor.
And that's where it's interesting because a lot of times we'll see different style of running backs, and we'll say, man, that 1-2 punch is really good between those. Seattle's got the same type of running back in both spots.
Oh, yeah, and they're going to beat you up, and they can make you miss, too, and they can do enough on third down to be the safety net. So they got a really good roster, young roster, and, that Pete Carroll energy is back in the building via McDonald.
It's interesting because we have a lot of just coaches to talk about coaches real quick, where it's like you had that carousel of it was Steichen going to Indianapolis, McDonald going to Seattle, maybe not all in the same offseason, but it was a lot of just coordinators or guys getting their first crack where like a decade ago, I just remember guys like Adam Gase and Rex Ryan just got recycled through multiple jobs.
Yeah.
We now have it to where there's a lot of first-time head coaches that are in their early stages of their career still, but there's some of them that it's working out better for than others. And I think Indianapolis and Seattle are great examples of where it's Steichen and McDonald are. It's actually worked out better.
Yeah, and Steichen just needed a quarterback, and also I think now people are more open. It's such an offensive league. Even though McDonald's a defensive coach, it's offensive league, and you got to know offense, and you got to be able to lead. And I think they have to do a lot more when you're coordinators now, since you're coordinator coaches. So it really helps them, be ready to be, the head of a franchise. More importantly, I think where you come from, right? What head coach do you play or coach under that teaches you how to be a pro or organization? Philly's the best organization or one of the best in the league. And that's where Steichen comes from. I mean, so that's great, right? And then you think McDonald, the second best organization, probably, arguably, is Baltimore. And he comes under Harbaugh as far as head coach. And, when McDonald was there before. So, I think they're trained and they're ready to be groomed. And I think that, they recycle through coaches, within a year and a half. So you better come in there ready to go. And they know the young coaches are going to come in and be really, really aggressive, no matter what they have on the roster.
And on that note, I mean, we're seeing Ben Johnson and Chicago slowly start to go through some of those growing pains as well. We know Chicago extended Ryan Poles in the middle of this offseason, which is somewhat shocking because it wasn't like his contract was expiring either. But you give him a longer runway too.
Well, he made the hire, and it looked like they're going all in with Caleb Williams. He got the extension. This is after having multiple coaches with out of the office issues or in office issues. But I think they feel like he's probably drafted well, free agents well, and so they're giving him a chance to keep going. And he's definitely tied to not only one or both the head coach and quarterback.
Once again, Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman with you from the Lincoln Youth Football Fields, Youth Football 101, sponsored by our friends at Edward Stone. We're seeing Allo up a couple of possessions, a couple scores on greens. The rain has started to lightly fall here. The sun's still shining, but the rain is also falling here at the facility, but it's a good day of football. Talk a little NFL with Jay. When we come back, we got to dive into a little of the other college football games that maybe we didn't get to talk about yesterday, now that we've had a day to let those marinate, and then also the high school football matchups that we've seen from throughout the capital city so far this season. Jay's going to join us for the next segment or two. Appreciate Jay hanging out with us here at Lincoln Youth Football. This is Youth Football 101. Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman with you here on 93.7 The Ticket.
For an exciting new way to put your skills to work, explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
And they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
When your home fills up with family, Allo Fiber makes sure that space is a happy place for everyone. Allo Fiber experts install it all, and full service means step-by-step support, guiding you through everything so you can stay connected to what matters, and the family can always feel at home. Put the game on, and don't worry about your Wi-Fi calling a timeout. Better TV and internet service is one connection away. Call Allo at 866-481-2556 or visit allofiber.com.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane University, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our long history of innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes us different. Now is your time. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Join LES at 6 p.m. Thursday, October 9th at the LES Operations Center to learn about the utilities' proposed 2026 budget and electric rates and share your input at the annual public meeting. Learn more at les.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through October 5th, enjoy 8-ounce USDA choice bacon wrapped sirloins for $5.88 each. All natural boneless chicken breast, $2.99 per pound. Fresh pork sausage, $2.49 per pound. And fresh salmon fillets for $9.99 per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Your boring workday just got a $1,000 upgrade. 93.7 The Ticket with the IBA is here with a $1,000 cash blitz.
Wow, thank you.
$1,000, are you kidding me?
That's incredible.
4 times every workday at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 1 p.m., and 3 p.m. We give you the keyword to text to 508-777-1000 or enter at our website, 93.7theticket.com.
Hey, this is Lauren.
This is Chris.
Hey, this is Tina, and I just won $1,000.
Woo! It's the $1,000 cash blitz on 93.7 The Ticket.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Back to Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in, Youth Football 101, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Appreciate you joining us wherever you may be listening. FM Dial, the mobile app, the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo Cable Channel 961. Appreciate you guys as always. 402-464-5685 is the way you can get in touch with the show. Nick Sanders alongside Jay Foreman for another 15 minutes or so. We will be out here at the Lincoln Youth Football Fields until 3 o'clock. Jay's got some stuff to get to after the 2 o'clock hour, so that's all right. We'll be joined by special guests in that hour coming up in the next couple of minutes. Jay, while we still have you, though, I want to kind of get your thoughts on the high school football we've seen so far in the capital city, where you look at, we saw Lincoln Southwest and Lincoln Northeast on Thursday. Maybe wasn't the most intriguing game, but we saw some good things from Lincoln Southwest. Let's talk first about the Silverhawks, then we'll get to the rest of the teams in the city. Southwest, they started the season tough, but they've won 2 in a row now.
Yeah, I think they're slowly but surely finding their rhythm. I think with them it was always, clock management, personnel management, matching the personnel up to their play calling. I think they've obviously done a better job of that the last 2 weeks. They went up to Sioux City, right?
Yeah, South Sioux
City won 56-0, and obviously took advantage of Lincoln Northeast. That was a well-improved Lincoln Northeast team last week. And so, they're big physical offensive line. They're big physical on the defensive line. They have 4 running backs, and so they all have different styles of how they run. And then they're slowly but surely, not hopefully, but I'm assuming in the second half, they might have found something in their passing game, and that's the short, controlled passing game. Get Shelton out there on the wings and let him just make either one decision or tuck it. They'll be a formidable opponent here down the stretch.
When we look at Northeast, a school that's dramatically improved under Coach Boyd, however, still has some stuff to work on, as we saw on Thursday.
Yeah,
both things can be true, where they've gotten light years better than what they have been the last 5 years.
Yeah.
But also still have a long way to go.
Yeah, I think he's done a really good job. I mean, we've had him in the studio. He's passionate about it. And, his passion has obviously led to them building that program. They were 4-1. Now they're 4-2 and been very, very competitive. I like their quarterback. I like the way they're running. I like Paulson. I like their team. They just didn't have the depth. And I think that they were actually very physical at the beginning of the game. And then they had to play guys both ways and kind of got worn out. And it's just the little things for them. When you have contain. When you got to be the filler, especially on defense and then on offense, They just need to find a way to get Mike Hunter Jr. the ball a little bit more early and often and more effective, and so he can really, create some havoc for defenses, throughout not only Lincoln but the state of Nebraska.
Has there been a team in the capital city specifically that stood out to you? Is there one that kind of, as you say, okay, this team is in the best spot as a program to compete in the playoffs?
Not really. It's kind of everybody has their pluses and their minuses, and you might think like North Star just because of maybe mentality, but they don't have as much probably structure or playbook and ability to play pitch and catch, and obviously Tyrell Chapman is a huge factor in that, because he once they moved him, when we did that, once they moved him into a slot, the offense really took off because they have a passing quarterback, and Schaefer is the backup quarterback or probably the starter. Normally you say Southeast, but they really got beat bad by Millard South, and so I think it's one of those things, and we'll probably see this in basketball. It's a lot of really good teams or good teams, and so they're evenly matched. And so late in the season, you'll see one that either catches the rhythm or has an opportunity schedule-wise, and they'll run away with it.
You mentioned Millard South. I mean, what do you take from seeing what they're doing to opponents? I mean, they're scoring 65-plus points consistently.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just they're putting the beat down on some teams.
Yeah, I mean, they did it last year, but I think they've taken it up another level this year. And I mean, obviously you got Tamala and company. You got Tamala, Jackson. Obviously one's going to Alabama, other one's going to Iowa State. They have their big event. Sogren, he's going to Illinois.
Nelson Wheeler is going.
Nelson Wheeler is going to Illinois. Then you have the tight end that's going to Missouri, I think, and they got a receiver going to Fresno State, another tight end going to Washington State or vice versa. And so they have a bunch of college kids out there that they play the right way. They're well coached. They're tough. They're physical. They're better than everybody athletically, but they're actually going out there and doing it the right way. So you can say they recruited and all that, but it happens all the time. And so it's just a time that, all these guys with the like-mindedness are the best of the best.
It's always so funny because, I mean, is that when we talk about the games, we'll do a Memorial Stadium coming up in the late stages of November when we do state championship football. But it's one of those things to where you sit there and go, every single kid that catches a pass, he's going somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And it almost feels like it's uncharted waters in Nebraska. We've gotten more and
Especially
more.
in Lincoln.
Yeah, we've gotten closer to it consistently over the last couple of years. But is that the norm in other places like Georgia and Texas and Florida?
Or maybe not even to this magnitude. I mean, when you're thinking 15, 16 kids, I think. But so it's a special class or two that are together, and I'm sure they have guys coming up the pipe that are right on par.
Yeah.
It's probably normal. It's probably, where I'm from or whatever, it's probably a little bit more normal to have 4 kids that are going, or, in total 10 on your team because you got some sophomores and juniors. But, to have your junior and senior class be like this, it's not normal. And it's almost like an IMG type of place. But, as much as people complain about it, everybody had the same opportunity. But more importantly, these guys, I mean, they've worked for it. They're pretty physical. Last year's team, I felt like, probably did some things I necessarily didn't agree with, but this unit is more uptight and cleaned up and really on point.
If you're another program, how do you catch up? Because we can sit there and say work harder, right? But naturally,
you gotta get out.
D1 commits don't just grow on trees.
No, but you know where they grow? Right out here in Lincoln Youth Football.
There you go.
This is where you're fostering them out here, and that's what's so great to be down here. You just never know who's out here, or however many guys will end up going and doing some great things and represent Lincoln. So it all starts here. That's where you start it, grassroots. You got to be patient, and then you got to be aggressive at the same time. If I'm a coach, I'm out here. I'm visible every weekend. I'm talking to as many people as I can. I'm trying to build up a program because these guys go from 6th grade to 10th grade like that. And if you're still there, then you've already created that relationship.
Well, and you've told you and I have had a lot of off-air conversations regarding the feeder programs or that type of thing, and that's a big reason why a team like Millard South has been so successful. Is because a lot of those guys have played together since they were 6th or 7th grade.
Yeah, and they traveled and they've been competitive the whole way.
Exactly, and now that enrollment numbers are up in Lincoln Youth Football, they were able to add the Junior Bolts program. They were able to kind of maneuver and change some things.
Yeah.
LPS still has the open enrollment, so it's not like every kid that plays for Allo has to go to a certain high school and Manzito and Junior Bowl. Like it's not a given.
Yeah.
However, the fact that, okay, if Lincoln Northwest and Brian Laut can come out here and say, okay, the majority of these guys playing for this team is who I'm going to see next year on my freshman team, or whoever it is for whatever school, that's a step in the right direction, even though LPS is always going to have open enrollment.
Yeah, sure it is. And you want to get on them early, and you want to kind of foster those relationships. And, kids want to play. And, you get some like-minded kids, and you kind of get in there early, and you can, I wouldn't say train them, but you can really kind of influence them in a positive way. It pays off in the long run. But then also, you do that here, you're going to do it when you get your older kids. And so I just think it's just kind of what you do. I think the one thing the Metro has done is put the pressure on coaches to try to forge some relationship with, I guess, I'll call these club teams and club coaches. That's the best way to build your program and really open the doors. I think, before it probably was closed, but now I think the doors are open.
Between you are very connected. Before we get out of here and get to break, you are very connected in the AAU circuit for basketball. Which sport is in a better spot? Is it football or basketball?
Basketball.
Just because of the structure
and
established structure, I should say,
and competitiveness, and these most of these kids have played together, and you kind of just got a little bit more, and it's a little bit easier because it's harder. It's hard to find 22 guys to play to your starters, let alone 30 or 40 other guys. So it's a little bit harder. I say basketball, but I think Lincoln football and Lincoln youth football and everything else is slowly but surely on the uptick.
Let's go to break, Jay. Appreciate it, my friend.
Yeah,
always a pleasure, and we'll definitely talk about this down the road. That is going to be it for the 1 o'clock hour. We got another hour to go here at Lincoln Youth Football. We'll be live until 3 p.m. Jay's going to get out of here, and when we come back, let's break down a little more college football stuff. We'll give you some score updates from the NFL world. Nick Stainer, Jay Foreman, appreciate Jay for hanging out with us. This is Youth Football 101, brought to you by our friends at Edward Stone here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Rick Heyman with Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Sartor Heyman is celebrating 120 years, and you could win big. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for your chance to win a $120 gift certificate every week. That's right, we're giving away $120 every week as a thank you for being part of our story. Don't miss your chance to treat yourself. Follow Sartor Heyman Jewelers today. Celebrating 120 years. Sartor Heyman, when only the best will do.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Salt Mine City is your go-to brewery in the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their Big Fatty 7-ounce hamburger or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Did you know that deer collisions are covered under the comprehensive portion of your car insurance? That means, like with hail damage or vandalism, since they are out of your control, they don't usually raise your insurance rates. And that's a good thing, since most deer don't carry liability insurance. At Eustace Body Shop, we fixed all kinds of animal collision damage, from cows to raccoons, bobcats, and even turkeys. We can't do much for the animal, but we can get your car back on all fours and looking like new again.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Join LES at 6 p.m. Thursday, October 9th at the LES Operations Center to learn about the utilities' proposed 2026 budget and electric rates, and share your input at the annual public meeting. Learn more at les.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the 93.7 The Ticket studio in the heart of Lincoln, America. Youth Football 101. Get a peek into the world of youth football in the state of Nebraska with Tank Perry of Paramount Sports Academy. This is Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A big thanks to Jay Foreman for hanging out with me for the last 45 minutes or so as we are live from the Lincoln Youth Football Fields, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert still with you for another 40 or 50 minutes or so here on the program before we hand things off to Dr. Lawrence Chatters and the Law of Lift. Always has a great guest and a great show planned for you, so make sure you stay tuned. At 2:30 today, we will switch over on the brick and mortar to NFL action. And so if you are listening on the FM dial and you want to catch the last 30 minutes of our program, make sure you have that mobile app ready, have the Sartor Hamann Jewelers live video stream ready, and we'll continue chugging away on those platforms. But on the FM dial specifically, we will have NFL action coming your way in a little over 20 minutes time. Once again, Nick Sainert with you. Thanks to Jay Foreman, Rudy back in our 93.7 The Ticket studios, pushing all the buttons for us. And once again, Lincoln Youth Football, great opportunity. Registration for next season opens up in February, so you still have a couple of months. Talk to your children, talk to your athletes, see if they want to play ages, fourth grade, when they can start in the rookie level, then they go all the way up to eighth grade, and then ultimately into high school. And as Jay and I kind of talked about there, you never know what type of athletes are going to be out here. The A games are a lot of fun to watch, don't get me wrong, but what's really enjoyable is the B and C level as well. So that's 6th and 7th graders more specifically. There's a lot of really, really talented, fun, fast, exciting players to watch on those fields as well. And so I always plead my case, especially now that the weather is still beautiful in the early stages of October here. Come on out. It's just a couple of bucks to enter for admission. Come on out here. Watch some football. Even if you have nobody that's directly tied to you playing out here on a Sunday, come on out, say what's up. And we're out here every Sunday from 1 to 3 p.m. as the regular season winds down in the next couple of weeks. Next week is the last week of the regular season. The week after that for A, B, and C is the 1 week of playoffs. The top 4 teams from each A, B, and C division advance to the playoffs. And then the 1 seed plays the 4 seed. The 2 seed plays the 3 seed in all those levels. And the winner of those 2 semifinals go and they play at Seacrest Field on October 26th. It's a Sunday, all day long out on that high school field at Seacrest Field on the 26th in the Lincoln Youth Football Championships. And so it's going to be a good time. As always, been able to be a part of those Lincoln Youth Football Championships the last 2 years. I'm looking forward to doing it for the 3rd year here this season in just a couple of weeks. And so once again, 1 to 3 p.m. we're out here every single week, and we can't thank our friends at Edward Stone enough for allowing this to be possible and to be able to hang out with us out here. Terrell stopped out here. Jay obviously has been out here. We've had countless guests from former Huskers, from current Husker athletes, former high school football coaches as well, current high school football coaches. Some really good stuff out here at the Lincoln Youth Football fields. Score update. As we got about 15 minutes or so left in this segment, Jay and I got into the conversation quite a bit deeper as well. So if you missed any of it, make sure you check it out on the podcast page. But you have some of the surprising teams of this year in they continue to win week after week. And I think there's Husker fans, we do this nonchalantly and without even realizing it, where we go, okay, are they really for real? Or I need to see one more week of it, right? Like I need to see one more week of them playing at a high level or winning another game to then I'll really believe. But then we find ourselves that next week, like saying, okay, do I need to see them again for another week? And I think part of that is just normal fandom. But I think one of those teams are the Colts. And I brought up the Colts with Jay. We talked a little bit deeper about the defense that they have, talked a little bit more about, the fact that Daniel Jones got kind of a career reset in Indianapolis as well. And then on top of it all, you have a healthy Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, and they drafted well at the skill position, even though it came back to kind of hurt them a couple of weeks ago against the Los Angeles Rams when Adonai Mitchell dropped that touchdown or would-be touchdown before he reached the end zone, and it ended up being a touchback in favor of the Rams, and the touchdown was wiped off the board. But ultimately, the Colts are up big on the Raiders, 32-3 again today. The Dolphins are on top of the Panthers, 17-13. The Panthers have scored 13 unanswered against the Dolphins in that matchup. They were down 17-0 at one time here today, just a little over halfway through the 3rd quarter in that one. And so the Dolphins and Panthers, plenty of time left in that matchup for that one to wrap up in the next hour or so. Earlier today in the London games, Vikings knock off the Browns 21-17. Obviously, Carson Wentz was the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, where Cleveland started Dylan Gabriel, the former Oregon and Oklahoma quarterback and UCF quarterback, I guess, a guy that had 3 college programs as he was a part of. And Dylan Gabriel started his first game, looked fine, was serviceable. I think Jay kind of talked a little bit about it. The playbook's still kind of expanding. Obviously, it was his first start. Dylan Gabriel, 19 of 33 through the air, 2 touchdown passes, 190 yards through the air. I'll tell you this, the more impressive piece of the puzzle for the Cleveland Browns offensively this year has been Quinshon Judkins, the rookie out of Ohio State by way of Ole Miss as well. Quinshon Judkins put together a nice 110-yard rushing performance today on 23 carries. No touchdowns today for the Cleveland Browns, but now he's approaching 400 rushing yards on the season is Quinshon Judkins. And they started out the season, he wasn't necessarily RB1 right at the start. Now they fully dove into Quinshon Judkins being the Cleveland Browns go-to RB here in after week there now 1-4, so game number 5. And so you look around and you say, okay, with Cleveland Browns, What's it look like coming up? The whole situation with Cleveland, as much as I don't want to talk about a 1-4 organization, it's so fascinating to me because they do have a really strong defense headlined by Myles Garrett and then obviously Greg on the back end. Myles Garrett, that whole situation still just is so shocking to me because he's a guy requested a trade, then he wanted to get out of Cleveland, it appeared, and then out of nowhere signs a massive deal to re-sign him and get him back and keep him in Cleveland, I should say. And you just kind of sit there and you go, why? Like, what is it about? Now, why would Myles Garrett ultimately request a trade and then, say, okay, you know what, we'll take it back. Well, it's a lot of money. But now, like, Myles Garrett is a guy that can win an MVP on the defensive side of the ball, and he's had a really good start to 2025 in this season. But from a team success standpoint, it's hard to envision the Browns really making a run at a Super Bowl or at anything close to that throughout the duration of Myles Garrett being there. And then I don't want to say a career wasted. That's not what I'm getting at. There's a lot of really good players that will go the entirety of their career without winning a Super Bowl. And it doesn't discredit what they do on the field. But when you talk about just creating a legacy and cementing it, it's unfortunate that a guy of Myles Garrett's caliber doesn't have a great shot to approach and potentially chase after a Super Bowl for as long as he's in Cleveland. So once again, some updated scores on a day where Lamar Jackson is hurt and is not playing. Cooper Rush is the quarterback starting for the Baltimore Ravens. The Houston Texans, as the start of the fourth quarter just began, the Texans lead the Ravens on the road in Baltimore 34-10. On the road in New Orleans, the New York Giants are trailing the New Orleans Saints 19-14. The Eagles, who are one of the two undefeated teams in baseball, along with along with the Buffalo Bills, the Eagles are up 17-3 on the Denver Broncos. The Cowboys, on a week removed, or a little less than a week removed from that tied game against the Green Bay Packers, they are on top of the Jets, 29-3 on the road. Not a good start to Aaron Glenn, the former Detroit Lions defense coordinator, his tenure in New York for the Jets. Still winless, and it appears that they're trickling towards another loss today. They trail the Cowboys 29-3. I mentioned the Colts are on top of the Raiders and Pete Carroll 32-3, and the Dolphins are up 17-13 as that third quarter just came to a close in Carolina. So the games that are coming up in the afternoon window, there's a couple of good ones, the Buccaneers and the Seattle Seahawks, the Tennessee Titans, who are also still winless, going up in Arizona against the Arizona Cardinals, the Commanders and Chargers, as well as the Lions and Bengals. And so on a day where there are 4 afternoon slate games, there was 2 weeks ago, I believe, where there were only 2 afternoon games, and it was kind of ridiculous to think about. But as we trend towards more buys that are being had and this, that, and the other for teams in the NFL, the Steelers are on a bye this weekend. But ultimately, when you look at it, 4 good games: Buccaneers, Seahawks, Titans, Cardinals, if you're into that, I suppose. But then the other 2, Commanders and Chargers against the Lions and the Bengals. The Chargers 3-1 as they continue to try to pull away in the AFC West, with the Chiefs starting off a little slower than what you expected. But the matchup in that Chargers-Commanders game to watch, normally it would be the quarterbacks in the form of Daniels versus Herbert. However, it's more interesting for me specifically is when you look at the two rookie running backs in that matchup with Krosky Merritt for the Washington Commanders, and then the former North Carolina running back Omarion Hampton getting the start for the Los Angeles Chargers later today. That's been kind of the more interesting matchup, I would say, at one of the skill positions going into that Commanders-Chargers matchup. Lions-Bengals, the Bengals continue to go forward without Joe Burrow on their offensive side of the ball. They struggled last week to really score points and get anything going past the 50-yard line. The Lions 3-1 now on the season after they dropped that first ugly game to the Green Bay Packers. They sit here winners of 3 in a row, and their offenses looked to be a lot more Detroit Lion-esque of 2024 than the first game of what it looked like in 2025. And so Jared Goff once again leads the Lions on the road. They are 9.5-point favorites against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Sunday night game features the other undefeated team. The Buffalo Bills host the New England Patriots. The Buffalo Bills, bizarre enough, in their division, not statistically or mathematically. However, when you look at that AFC East, and it's Buffalo, New England, Miami, and the Jets, there's a very serious possibility that the Bills could, what feels like, lock up that division by Halloween. You talk about it. If Buffalo can win today against New England at home, Buffalo will be 5-0. The next best team would be 2-3 in that conversation. You're sitting here saying, Nick, it's October 5th. Why are you saying that there can be a division already locked up or hypothetically speaking, be locked up? Well, first off, you look at the other teams. New York Jets are not doing well right now, still winless. The Miami Dolphins don't know what the update is going to be with Mike McDaniels, and you have Tyreek Hill's situation there, the inconsistencies of Tua Tagovailoa as well. You don't know what to expect. And then for New England, it's just kind of an up in the air with Mike Vrabel in his first year. New England's got a weird situation going on at running back, and I'm really fascinated to see it today, where similar to the Cleveland Browns, they drafted a running back in the first round, and in this form, it was Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, actually running mate at Ohio State. But ultimately, when you see the way that New England runs it, they still favor Ramondre Stevenson as the RB1. And so it's really interesting to kind of watch these teams. And Jay and I talked pretty deep about it earlier, where for a lot of these organizations, they get into desperate time, and when it comes to quarterbacks, it's the shiny new toy. We see it with Jackson Dart in New York with the Giants. We've seen it with now Dylan Gabriel and or Shadur Sanders in Cleveland. But ultimately, these guys and these organizations, they like to use what they just received. They want to use the new flashy, shiny toy. And when it's all said and done, you have it to where New England, they've given Ramondre Stevenson 3-4 years of RB1 carries. And you remember back in the days of James White was there for a while, and Damian Harris was also a running back for the New England Patriots a few years ago. But it's been kind of Ramondre Stevenson's opportunity to take, and yet they go out and they draft a running back in Travion Henderson to put him next to Drake May, who was another quarterback that they drafted just recently. And now they won't give him a fair share of the carries. Now, part of it is probably because there's some growing pains and learning, there's some learning difficulties with Travion Henderson. But when it's all said and done, we're seeing how beneficial it can be for the Cleveland Browns with Quinshon Judkins. But now it's what can it look like with Travion Henderson if he's getting a full fair shake. So that's kind of an NFL rundown there, with your Sunday night game being the Buffalo Bills against the New England Patriots. And last but not least, I don't know, you guys can let me know on the text line, 402-464-5685. The Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Sartor Hamann text line are open for you guys, as well as the Sartor Hamann Jewelers live video stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo Cable channel 961. But I will say this, that on a week where there's one Monday night football game, I'm not opposed to having two. I'm not against having two Monday night football games. Last night, or excuse me, this Monday night, obviously you have Chiefs at the Jacksonville Jaguars, but there's something I also didn't mind about saying, okay, 6 p.m., sit down, watch game one, and then game two starts, as game one is kind of winding down. I'm not against it. I know there's a lot of people that don't like the two Monday night games, and that's fine, to each their own. So 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Sartor Hamann text line. Feel free to let me know on that spot there. When we come back here in a few minutes, we're not going to go to break just yet. We have about 2.5-3 minutes left in this segment. But when we come back, I definitely want to dive into the high school side of things, because not only just because we have, fortunate enough to be out here every single week and watching the youth football circuit improve consistently. And when I talk about, a year and a half ago when I came out here the first time and watched it, to what we saw last fall to now this fall, it is dramatically improved. And I say it each week, and I don't think you can say it enough. A very, very nice job by Jim Sandman and Mike Selvage and Tank Perry and the entire crew from LYF for continuing to make this a priority, not only in their lives, but also just overall from top to bottom, year after year. Registration, I say it, opens up in February. I highly recommend talk to your young people, talk to them and see if they want to try out youth football. There's also some other leagues that are around the city that are in partnership with LYF, and all of that information is online at lincolnyouthfootball.org. And so I just recommend come and hang out. But if you are having doubts and you wonder, okay, more youth sports, like, is this really a productive organization, a productive program, an opportunity for us? Come on out. Like, next Sunday is the last week of the regular season. Come on out and see it for yourself, as there will be plenty of games. They start as early as 10 a.m. and 9 a.m. in the morning, but come on out. They go all day long. You don't have to stay for an entire game. You don't have to stay for the entire day. Just come on out and see a quarter of it and see how it's operated. Talk to the coach, talk to them. There's high school coaches along the sideline on every single field. A lot of them are going to be around the A field just because it's your eighth graders that are going to be high school freshmen next year. But, I mean, seriously, I can't stress it enough. Come see what it's like. Come see what all these parents that just have lawn chairs and they're supporting their kids, their nephews, their grandchildren, whatever it may be. Some really cool opportunities here at the Lincoln Youth Football Fields. The officiating, there's been very few problems. Every single year, there's going to be natural issues that parents or spectators have with officials. We talk about it every single Saturday with Nebraska football. But ultimately, we have to figure out a way to where if you are a parent or a spectator of a youth sport, you have to know that they truly prioritize the officiating, the coaching, the safety as well of all these players. And so highly recommend just come on out, and before you even introduce it to your children, you can come out and see for yourself. And it's for a very, very affordable admission rate as well. And there's plenty of space to park, plenty of space to sit and watch, and just enjoy a Sunday of youth football. So with that being said, let's go ahead. We'll dive into the high school side of things when we come back. We are going to switch over to the video stream. So make sure, if you want to catch the rest of this program, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Cable Channel 961, places for you guys to get in touch with the program there. Also text in 402-464-5685. The Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys the rest of the way. We got about 30 minutes left in the program before we go and hand it off to Dr. Lawrence Chatters for the Law of Lift. And he'll take you up until 5 p.m. here on your Sunday. But for now, let's take a quick break, come back, and wrap up the final 30 minutes of the show. Nick Sainert with you from the Lincoln Youth Football Fields. This is Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Byrne as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your graze table today at GrazingGouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats. 93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Harvest season is coming, and Acres has discounted many of our late model John Deere combines. Get thousands in discounts and upgrade for this year's harvest. Plus, you can save even more with interest rates starting as low as 1.9% on select units. Low interest rates combined with our huge discounts, there's not a better time to buy. Visit acres.com for all the details. That's AKRS.com. Restrictions apply. Offer ends August 31st, 2025. Subject to approved financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
Hey fans, there's more winning at Amigos with the VIP Game Day giveaway. Every app scan is your chance to win premium tickets to a Nebraska football, basketball, and volleyball game, along with exclusive game day perks. And when Nebraska goes to a bowl, the winner also gets 2 tickets, lodging, and airfare to the bowl game. Weekly semifinalists will win free food for a year. Go Big Red. Eat at Amigos and enter to win.
Amigos is celebrating 45 years with exclusive Nebraska Legends collectible cups featuring Tom Osborne, John Cook, and some of your favorite Huskers. For every cup sold, 50 cents goes to teammates. Show your Big Red pride by getting all 4 of these collectible cups at Amigos.
This is Tom Osborne with the Teammates Mentoring Program. We have students on the waiting list for a mentor. We want you to join the team. Learn more about mentoring and support teammates by visiting Amigos.
An overdose can happen in front of you and you might not realize it. Blue lips, slowed breathing, pinpoint pupils, choking sounds, unresponsive to touch or sounds. These signs aren't always obvious, but they can be deadly. Knowing what to do could save your friend, your neighbor, your child. Learn more by visiting myhealthymind.crediblemmind.com so you can be ready before it happens. This message is funded in part by the CDC OD2A grant.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Limitless Male says it's all fun and games until your testosterone plummets. Testosterone levels can start falling as early as age 30 with symptoms like no energy, poor sleep, brain fog, belly fat, muscle loss, and mood swings. If this sounds familiar, get your testosterone checked at Limitless Male. We'll get you back in the game with more strength, energy, and confidence. When you feel this good, you'll wonder why you waited so long to get a free consult at Limitless Male. Get scheduled today.
Back to Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here, Lincoln Youth Football 101, as the next batch of games are getting ready to begin here in just a few minutes on the fields. During the commercial break, went over to the D field, which is the fifth graders, and watched them play Junior Bolts versus the Elks over there. I'm watching the C field. We got a 14-0 ball game between Neiman and Sons and the Junior Bolts, and it looks like here on the A field it is going to be Manzito versus Neiman and Sons over here for the 8th grade matchup, starting in just a few minutes. Once again, Nick Standard with you here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Appreciate Rudy back in our 93.7 The Ticket studios as well, pushing all the buttons for us over these last couple of hours here. And we have about 25 minutes or so left in the program before we hand it off to Dr. Lawrence Chatters for the Law of Lift here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Just a reminder, we are now stream only, so Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Cable Channel 961, places for you guys to get in touch with the show there or on the mobile app. And so if you found us, we appreciate you. Make sure you always know we always have local stuff on all those platforms, even if there's a national broadcast being had on our FM dial. As I said, 464-5685 Honda Lincoln Hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys. I saw this. I'm going to get into the high school stuff in just a moment. The high school football, I should say, conversation in just a moment, because I think it's important and interesting. However, the top 25 AP poll for this week came out, and I wouldn't say two stunners, but two massive moves have been made. And one of them is from a Big Ten school. The other one is from an SEC school. Texas, who lost Florida 29-21 over the weekend, they fall out of the top 25 entirely. So Texas goes from 9th to now unranked the week of the Red River rivalry. And so number 6th ranked Oklahoma versus unranked Texas. I don't know if many people could have predicted that going into the entire season, that when those two teams matched up in the way that things looked like they were going for Oklahoma and Brent Venables, and the way that things were going on the other side in the other direction for Steve Sarkisian and Texas, and all the expectation that obviously went with Arch Manning as well, to sit there and say, man, unranked Texas going up against 6th-ranked Oklahoma, it's going to be a fun weekend in that Red River rivalry. But the other big mover in the AP poll comes from the Big Ten Conference, and we all saw what happened with Penn State and UCLA yesterday. UCLA wins in dramatic fashion. Interim head coach Tim Skipper gets his first win as interim head coach for the UCLA Bruins. And we saw the stuff with Jerry Neuheisel's son, Jerry. But how about this? Penn State, now with their 3-2 record 0-2 in the Big Ten Conference after they lost the week before to Oregon at home. They are now unranked as well. So Penn State goes from 7th in the country to now unranked, and they will face off against Northwestern this weekend. And so, next weekend. But I say all of that to say this. There are some fascinating top 25 matchups in college football next week. And it's some really good ones. We had that really good week, a couple in like week 2 or 3 of the season, where there was some highly rated matchups as well. And week 1 was great with 1 versus 2 in Ohio State and Texas. But how about this? How about some of these matchups? Ohio State goes on the road to Illinois. Alabama goes on the road to Missouri. CBS has the 2:30 kickoff as usual for the Big Ten Conference. That game, 7th-ranked Indiana on the road at number 3 Oregon. You obviously have Oklahoma and Texas this week. Iowa State goes to Colorado. Texas A&M hosts Florida. Georgia goes to Auburn. And then there's 2 more that I'll mention. One is Michigan travels to USC. And the second one is the latest game in the top 25 action at 9:15 p.m. Central Time. This one kicks off. And it's 21st ranked Arizona State at Utah. Those are 2 4-1 teams in the Big 12 Conference. I'm telling you, there's some really good matchups, especially in the Big 10 Conference with Ohio State, Illinois, Indiana, Oregon. There was a lot of conversations over the last couple of years when the naming rights kind of became a thing to where for the CBS partner, I should say, because you knew Fox was going to keep their morning slate with the 11 a.m. kickoff. You knew that NBC was going to get the night slate. Well, once the contract with the SEC on CBS ran out, then they joined the Big Ten naming rights or media rights. You knew that 2:30 slot was going to be the game that CBS got. However, here's the thing. There were some complaints from the folks in the CBS department the last couple of years when they realized, well, crap, we're going to get the 2:30 slot, right? Which historically isn't a great slot for Big Ten games. It was for SEC, but it wasn't great historically for the Big Ten teams. Well, how about this? The last couple of weeks, they have had Nebraska, Michigan. They had Penn State, UCLA. They had in between there, they had Ohio State and Washington. And now they have 7th-ranked Indiana against number 3 Oregon. That has quietly become a really good spot. And from a cinematic standpoint, it is a lot of fun to watch the Big Ten on CBS. I am a big fan of the Big Ten Conference on CBS. I will stand on that. I will stand by that. I was at the Michigan-Nebraska game, obviously, up in the press box, but I also was watching on my laptop up in the press box. It allows us to see replays, allows us to kind of go back and rewind certain plays that we see, and we can look at stuff while I was watching it. And from the cinematic spot, the CBS just broadcast with the legendary voices of my time growing up in Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson have been, I mean, it's super cool. And I very much welcomed it into my Saturday viewing. And so to think that, people were frustrated at one time, CBS people, I should say, were frustrated at one time that they were going to get the Big Ten slate in the middle of the day. Cause then you knew that NBC and Peacock, they'd get second dibs, right? Fox is obviously the majority partner of the Big Ten Conference. And so you know that they were going to get first crack any of the games and big noon kickoff and stuff. But I would sit here and say, if I was big noon kickoff, wouldn't you have rather had Indiana and Oregon rather than Ohio State and Illinois? Now, Ohio State, Illinois, that's going to be a great matchup, a highly competitive matchup. I think Illinois has a chance to beat Ohio State. Now, Ohio State's defense, we talk so much about their offense, and we know about Jeremiah Smith, and we know about obviously Julian Sand, the 5-star quarterback, and all that. We know all about those guys. That Ohio State defense is really, really good. Even a year after Jim Knowles left. That's the other just incredibly crazy thing is you look at Penn State, James Franklin, they go out, they sway Jim Knowles away from Ohio State. They hire him to be the defensive coordinator at Penn State. Now Penn State, 5 games into the season, unranked after losing to 0-4 UCLA. I don't know if you guys also saw, and this is something I'll be fascinated to kind of dive deeper in at some point this week, is that the communication, Jerry Neuheisel, the acting play caller for UCLA, it was crazy because his he never practices with his headset. And so he forgot to push the buttons. He was pushing the wrong button. He wasn't able to communicate every single play consistently to Nico Iamaleava, and yet UCLA still won despite having communication mishaps, communication issues, lack of communication just over the top. And so they still were able to win. And so it's just been a great couple of starts to the college football season. We still got a lot of time to go. It's October 5th, and we go until the middle of January now with the expanded playoffs. So I'm telling you, this week, some really good, especially Big Ten top 25 matchups. And Nebraska, Maryland would be a very, very appealing matchup, I think, for a lot of these TV networks. It's going to be on the Big Ten network, but it would be very appealing for a lot of these TV partners. However, Ohio State, Illinois, and Indiana, Oregon, and then Michigan, USC are your top three. That's a really competitive and attractive day of football matchups between the names, the rankings, and just from start to finish, you've been able to figure out a way to be able to, once again, have some marquee games on every single time slot, and you're dominating morning, midday, and evening time slots in college football, in the arms race of college football that it is. All right, let's go ahead and do this. Let's take a break. We'll take our final timeout. When we come back, we wrap up another week from Lincoln Youth Football here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Harvest season is coming, and Acres has discounted many of our late model John Deere combines. Get thousands in discounts and upgrade for this year's harvest. Plus, you could save even more with interest rates starting as low as 1.9% on select units. Low interest rates combined with our huge discounts, there's not a better time to buy. Visit acres.com for all the details. That's AKRS.com. Restrictions apply. Offer ends August 31st, 2025. Subject to approved financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
Hey fans, there's more winning at Amigos with the VIP Game Day giveaway. Every app scan is your chance to win premium tickets to a Nebraska football, basketball, and volleyball game, along with exclusive game day perks. And when Nebraska goes to a bowl, the winner also gets 2 tickets, lodging, and airfare to the bowl game. Weekly semifinalists will win free food for a year. Go Big Red, eat at Amigos, and enter to win.
Amigos is celebrating 45 years with exclusive Nebraska Legends collectible cups featuring Tom Osborne, John Cook, and some of your favorite Huskers. For every cup sold, 50 cents goes to teammates. Show your Big Red pride by getting all 4 of these collectible cups at Amigos.
This is Tom Osborne with the Teammates Mentoring Program. We have students on the waiting list for a mentor. We want you to join the team. Learn more about mentoring and support teammates by visiting Amigos.
An overdose can happen in front of you and you might not realize it. Blue lips, slowed breathing, pinpoint pupils, choking sounds, unresponsive to touch or sounds. These signs aren't always obvious, but they can be deadly. Knowing what to do could save your friend, your neighbor, your child. Learn more by visiting myhealthymind.crediblemmind.com so you can be ready before it happens. This message is funded in part by the CDC OD2A grant.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Limitless Male says it's all fun and games until your testosterone plummets. Testosterone levels can start falling as early as age 30 with symptoms like no energy, poor sleep, brain fog, belly fat, muscle loss, and mood swings. If this sounds familiar, get your testosterone checked at Limitless Male. We'll get you back in the game with more strength, energy, and confidence. When you feel this good, you'll wonder why you waited so long to get a free consult at Limitless Male. Get scheduled today.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to SmokingGunJerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Back to Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in, Youth Football 101, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sandert with you one final time. We got about 5 minutes left in the show today. Here, once again, 402-464-5685. The Starter Heyman text line, the Honda Lincoln hotline open for you. Make sure you stay tuned after we are done here in the next couple of minutes, as Dr. Lawrence Chatters will take you through the next couple of hours. The Law of Lift coming your way here on The Ticket. I want to shout out Amir Abdullah, who has been on the station before in the last calendar year or so, but he is currently playing for the Las Vegas Raiders on a day where the Raiders not having a great day against the Indianapolis Colts. However, here he scores a touchdown today. In the matchup. How about this? Amir is in his 11th year with the program or in the NFL, and it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around that. The fact that he's been able to not only stay in the league, but he's consistently found a spot, found a role. And for some of those teams, like I remember, especially on like the Minnesota team, he was a little bit of a running back, but especially special teams guy. Especially for even Las Vegas at times, more so of a special teams guy. And so after, getting his start in his career with the Detroit Lions, who drafted him in the second round, 54th overall, Amir eventually bounced around from a couple of teams, Detroit and then Minnesota to Carolina to Las Vegas, and now working with the Indianapolis Colts. And so ultimately it's kind of interesting to see as the Husker pipeline, especially in the running back room, it continues to grow. And Amir's done a really nice job of being able to have some stability in the league. And he's been able just to kind of grind it out, find ways to consistently find a role on teams. And it's been really, really fun to kind of watch from afar. I mean, it's crazy to think he's in his 11th year in the league. He was drafted in 2015. And it's pretty cool to see. I think that's somebody that Nebraska, especially everybody that loves the whole run the ball type of people and stuff. You love the fact that Nebraska still has a former running back active in the league. Obviously, that number has dwindled a little bit over the course of the last decade or so. But Nebraska, who I said earlier, the offensive line statistic regarding the whole situation of offensive linemen drafted and not drafted since 2014, it's pretty cool to see that, Nebraska still does have a running back in the league and still finding a role on some of these teams. Now, with that being said, we're about ready to wrap up today's show from Lincoln Youth Football. As you can see on the stream behind me, we have a lot of energetic young folks out here. It's a great time. I'm telling you, it's hard for me not to get distracted because not only do I have an organized football game going on in front of me, but there's a lot of guys around us. We're just in a tent set up in the middle of the facility, and there's a lot of little football games going on with younger siblings and stuff like that, throwing the football, running routes, doing one-on-ones, things like that. You also have just some horsing around back behind me as well. And so it's just been a lot of fun. It's hard not to get distracted, hard to keep the attention solely on the show because there's so much going on and a lot of curious people as to, kind of just what everything is happening out here. Reminder, registration for next season opens up in February. I'm going to keep saying on it, keep on keeping on as registration opens up in February. If you ever miss any of these shows from out here, we have a lot of great conversations, a lot of great interviews with coaches, with former Huskers, with current Huskers, current youth football players, current youth football coaches, high school coaches. It's always a blast to be able to sit down and chop it up with them for 15, 20 minutes or so at a time. I can't thank Terrell Farley a couple of weeks ago for coming on out here. Jay Foreman was out here earlier today as well. And ultimately, we cannot thank our friends at Lincoln Youth Football in Jim Sandman, Mike Selvage, Tank Perry, the entire crew for just allowing us to be out here and occupy a small space of their facility to bring you some just information on the youth football scene, a scene that's dramatically improving week after week, month after month, and year after year. They're continuously making updates to the field, to the facilities as well. And I plead with you guys, even if you don't directly know somebody, I'm sure there's all of us know through friends, through family friends, through, what family even know somebody that's playing out here. Highly recommend. Come on out here, spend just a couple of minutes, watch a game. There's plenty of spots for parking, plenty of spots to just bring a lawn chair. You can sit on the grass and just enjoy a Sunday, especially when the weather is what it is here on October 5th. Hopefully the weather the next couple of weeks as we finish up the regular season next week, go into playoffs the following week, and then ultimately into Championship Sunday on October 26th. Hopefully the weather continues to cooperate. So once again, that is it for us here on Lincoln Youth Football 101. I can't thank Rudy and the entire team back in our 93.7 The Ticket Studios for pushing all the buttons, keeping us connected. Nick Sandert saying so long for now from youth football, the Lincoln Youth Football scene. Highly recommend. Come on out, spend a day out here, and enjoy what Lincoln football has to offer. It's on the uptick, and it's trending in a positive direction. We'll step aside. The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters is coming up right next here at 3 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Has discounted many of our late model John Deere combines. Get thousands in discounts and upgrade for this year's harvest. Plus, you could save even more with interest rates starting as low as 1.9% on select units. Low interest rates combined with our huge